Welcome, everybody. We'll be starting in just a few minutes. VirtualLight broadcast starts right at the top of the hour. Espavo, and welcome. Let it begin with us. Probably help if I turn my microphone on. Welcome to the VirtualLight broadcast, everyone. Espavo, everyone. Thank you for being here with us. We know it's a busy day. I've got quite a few announcements to make this morning, so bear with me, please. I know many of you don't actually watch this until the weekends or sometimes even after the live event, but for those of you, actually, we've got quite a few people watching live, so that's wonderful. Anyway, I do have some announcements, and I need to warn you because you see, my sister Cindy watches this. And she tells me, she says, you know, you talked way too long in the beginning. You should have got right to it. Well, Cindy, hang on, because I've got some very important announcements to make. She says she hangs up early and she never gets to the channel if I talk too long. So anyway, today I have to talk. We just have too many things going on. So welcome, everybody. Welcome to 2025, basically. We have a lot going on here that we want to talk about and that we want to share with you. So number one, we're here at the VirtualLight broadcast. This particular one is for December of 2024. We're going to be ending the VirtualLight broadcast. We're basically going into a different format, a different type of situation that we're going to be doing. We'll still be doing a lot of free events and at least one monthly channel from the group in some form. We'll announce that a little bit later, but we'll be ending on January 25th. On January 25th, I hope to bring in many of the past announcers, many of the people that have been on the show for a long time, that helped us ground the energy for the 25 years. Some of them I couldn't actually reach. I mean, it was 25 years ago. So it's absolutely amazing. It began in the beginning as an audio broadcast for about the first 4.5 years. And then we turned it into a video broadcast about 21 years ago, somewhere in that neighborhood. So we're celebrating 25 years. I'm very honored to do that. You might notice that we had a 25-year anniversary a few years ago. Interesting story, I'll tell it very quickly. I wanted to do a 25-year VirtualLight broadcast anniversary. And the group said, no, don't wait that long. Do a 25-year anniversary of the work. So we did. Barbara passed shortly after that. So I'm very glad that we did that. Excuse me. I'm very glad that and happy that we did it in that way because she got to celebrate that. But I'm sure she's looking on with us here today too. Okay, let's get the Kleenex out. You know, what can I do? I hate this human part sometimes. Anyway, I'll try to keep going through the announcements as much as possible, but this is dedicated to Barbara. Okay, so many of you have written to us. Spavo has been down. The website has been down. I've mentioned this before. We're under attack. The attacks that have been coming in have been absolutely incredible. The software is having a very difficult time catching it up. I'm sure that's probably what's behind what's taking place because the experts have not been able to find anything. Recently, we went down for 3 or 4 hours the other day, and they ended up replacing the site with an old version, which ended up double billing about 5 or 6 people. For those of you who double billed, I think we've caught everything and refunded your money. You may not see the refund as fast as you see the charge, so please be patient. But feel free to write us and fill out a help desk ticket so we can check that if that is the case, because we want to make sure you're taken care of. Our sincere apologies for that. Once we move, I don't think we're going to have this same problem. Okay, moving on. We just finished an incredible seminar. I'm very excited about it. It will be available at the new site as well once we move. It's called Embracing the Shadow Self. Awesome material. I was so excited about some of the things that the group brought into the Embracing the Shadow Self and what it's about. Basically, it was talking about our dark side. We have gone through the second dimension. We have lived in polarity. We have to release that polarity in order to move into the fifth dimension and anchor that. And in doing that, we want to look at all of it, not just the light, not just every positive thought, but we all have dark thoughts. We all have negative thoughts too. If we ignore them, they creep up behind us. So we have 2 days of Embracing the Shadow Self available at the site right now. It is absolutely incredible. I am very proud to be presenting that one. Now, after the 2 days that we presented, the group has tapped me on the shoulder and said, we need to talk one more time. So we're going to throw in an extra day. I will announce what day that's going to be. We'll put it up there in the same thing. So it's now turning into a 3-day event, and of course there's no extra charge for it. But the group wants to do that. In the meantime, if you wish to ask any questions about that, you can ask questions at questions@aspavo.org. You can send an email to questions@aspavo.org, and we'll try to address it during the 3rd day on that last piece that we have working together, okay? Aspavo. Great, next one. December 1st is a very big day for us. It's coming up in just a few days. It is a huge day for us because we're moving websites. We're leaving the traditional aspavo.org and we're moving over to a new site. I will give you that email address. I will give you that URL. We don't really want people over there right now because if you go over there too early and start signing up for things, there is a possibility you could be billed at both websites. So next Friday, I will send out the weekly update that I send out every week if you're on the mailing list. And please, you want to think about putting yourself on the mailing list. We'll send it on the mailing list. We'll give you instructions of where to go, how to do it. There will be signs up at the old site to tell you what to do as well. And we'll be moving over into this new site. Now, we do not have the capability of moving your credit cards. We are never able to see your credit cards. We can see the last 4 digits. That's all they'll let us see, which is perfect. We need that security. So in that way, we can't move your whole site over. We can't move your whole thing over. So basically, we will be able to send you over there. We're going to ask you to use the same email address that you use for the current site. It's much easier for us to move your products over and everything of that nature. But you'll have to sign up again, and you'll have to put your credit card in again if you have purchased anything, or if you're a Lightmaster on the continual process. So I'm really excited about that. I am very excited, especially for the Lightmasters on this new site. We're going to be able to create a community. We've got several things planned that were simply not possible at the old website. So I'm very excited about that whole process. Okay, next up, we have a process going on December 1st as well. We decided to do a live Q&A right here on YouTube. You may be watching this on our site right now because we're also simulcasting it on YouTube, the site, Facebook. It's going out to about 7 or 8 different places. Anyway, as a result, we're going to be working a lot with YouTube because YouTube has some incredible opportunities for us to build and so forth. So we'll be here December 1st at YouTube. We have a live Q&A going on. We'll be able to bring you quite a bit of that. It is December 1st at 11 a.m. Pacific time, and it will be at the Aspavo TV on YouTube. So you simply go and search for Aspavo TV once you get to YouTube, and you'll put it there. We'll have some direct links on the website too. I can't give you direct links here in a video. They just plain don't work. So anyway, I will do that. Now we have a chat room, of course, in YouTube. You will be able to ask some live questions. However, if you'd like your question considered beforehand, you can send it to questions@aspavo.org. Now, please feel free to ask any questions that you have, but we kindly ask and request that your questions be kept to general and non-personal so that they can benefit everybody. Not every, even though you may have a personal situation, those are types of things that we answer in the Lightmaster group as well as in the private sessions. But you can send your question ahead of time to questions@aspavo.org, and we'll try to do our best to take care of all of that. So thank you for being with us, and I'm looking forward to this. We're going to do a lot more of these, especially on YouTube. We're going to start working with YouTube a lot more in the future. I'm very excited about it, and welcome to all of you that are watching on YouTube. We have a pretty good following on YouTube just to start with, and we're going to start building that. We also have a lot of freebies that will be available over at the new site once you get there. I don't want to go through all the details yet, but once you go over there and just sign up for what we call the Backstage Pass. Now, if you just go over there and look around, you can go around and look around. It's no problem. But if you want to be part of the family, so to speak, you sign up for a free Backstage Pass. You go all the way down to the bottom of the front page, and you'll be able to sign up for that. It's all free. It basically creates an account and allows you to buy things in the future. You don't have to put in any credit cards or anything in the beginning. You just sign up for the Backstage Pass. But that also gives you quite a few free things. I'm very, again, excited about some of the things we're going to be giving you. One of the first things we're going to be doing, besides sending you that free book that we do for new signups, we're also going to be sending every month, we're going to have an audio meditation, 15-minute audio meditation. I know a lot of people like to listen to these when they walk, when they run, things of that nature. So we're going to make some free audio meditations. We're going to put a new one up each month. The first one will begin on December 1st. I'll just leave that to there. They're downloadable. You can have them forever from that point forward. You can put them, on your phone. You can do a lot of things with them. But anyway, that's only part of what we have going on of the new site. Again, I'm very excited about that. So come join us and play with that. Coming up next, we have the 5D pineal gland activation. That will be coming up very soon. This is basically 5D. We've done pineal gland activations about 10 years ago, and they were very powerful, wonderful, but the 5D material is different. The way we describe this is this can start activating your superpowers, very simply. It's going to be on December 20th and December 27th, and also on January 7th, 17th, and 24th. Now, this is a 4-day event spread out over 2 months. It'll be the last 2 Fridays of each month of December and January. And you can jump in at any time because you can always go back and watch the rest. It will also be available in the store after it's live so that people can do this. This has some very new material in it about the pineal gland, about how we can activate things and really activate a lot of what we would call magic in our lives. And now that we are in 5D and how that works. So also, it has in it one segment where we actually can show you a physical activation. There's a physical activation that we can do through the back of the neck, reaching into the medulla oblongata and activate the pineal gland through the medulla oblongata. It is something that we will show you online how to do, but we're also, since it's so powerful in person, we also have an event coming up live in Leuven, Belgium, called the Transformation Day. The second Transformation Day is on the solstice, the winter solstice, on December 21st in Leuven, Belgium. Again, go to the website, go to the store, you'll see it advertised there. And you can sign up for that. In that event, at the first part of the event, I'm going to actually be showing you how to do this in person. So if you're interested, and most of you are healers anyway, or like to offer these things to other people, we're going to teach you kind of a new modality and way to do some of these things through the medulla oblongata and a way of working with that. So I'm very excited to be presenting the whole 4 days on December 20th, 27th, January 17th, and 24th. But also on December 21st, live in Leuven, Belgium, we're going to be presenting it live and showing you how to do. The first part is going to be that. The second part is going to be open. The group will have a long channel and we'll have open 2-minute readings for the remainder of the day after we come back from the lunch break. So we did this again a while back and it worked out really well in September. It was very exciting for the people that were there. We hope you come and join us in person in Leuven, Belgium on December 21st. The Transformation Day. That's the in-person seminar. And also the 5D pineal activation online. Okay, now we're getting there. Lightmaster 2500 is beginning as soon as we move. And again, Lightmaster has been the key element for us here. We try to give everything first in Lightmaster, and then we kind of perfect it and bring it out in different ways. Sometimes we'll do events in person, sometimes we'll do it other ways. But Lightmaster, there's some new things coming in Lightmaster 2500. Lightmaster 2500 begins on December 6th and December 13th. We do the Lightmaster courses the first 2 Fridays of each month. And then the second 2 Fridays, we do the focus event. Lightmaster includes all 4 of them. So you don't have to buy the extra events. You don't have to buy the pineal event if you're in Lightmaster. It's $111 a month, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that too. But we're going to start doing something that I personally have hesitated on for a long time. We're revealing the story of Earth and the parental races. Basically the ETs, the intergalactic beings that are here right now. They've been here, they're interfering, they're interceding into our world in many different ways. And we're telling this story in the Lightmaster group starting on December 6th and December 13th. I know we're going to do it for at least 2 weeks. We may do it longer. We'll have to wait and see. But I like to release the material first in LightMaster. It's how we do things here at Espavo. And these LightMasters, as you know, many of them have been with us. We've had some that have been with us like 22 years in LightMaster. So we really try to honor them, give you the highest possibility. You might want to check out LightMaster going forward, especially when we move, because there's going to be some very interesting things going on with LightMaster. On top of all that, I will tell you, we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. As such, we have the ability now, starting with LightMaster 2500, to give you a tax deduction if you are in the United States. These are going to be donations that you donate. That's how it's going to work. That is what we're going to do. And we'll be able to give you a tax deduction for your donations to espavo.org. And that also lets you into the LightMaster group. So that's kind of how it works. We're actually working very hard to come up with some very interesting things having to do with the other events as well, to also make them tax deductible as well. I know that we have a global audience, and many of you this doesn't affect because you're not in the United States, but we are opening other aspects in different parts of the world. Everything works differently in Europe than it does here. So we have a lot of people in Europe. We have a lot of people in Australia, people in Canada. It's a global organization. So we do appreciate your ability to work with us on that and to be able to work in those different ways. Okay, Cindy, I did pretty good, didn't I? Getting through all that pretty quick. All right. Anyway, there's so much going on. I'm very busy, obviously, but we're also very excited about it. We have an incredible team, mostly volunteers that work with us here. I will introduce you to many of them going forward. In fact, you'll meet Allie coming up when we do the Q&A. She's going to be working with me to kind of produce the Q&A and to read the questions for me and everything of that nature. So we'll be able to work with that as well. But I'm just very proud of the team that we have built. We have weekly staff meetings on Thursday, and we have more fun in those staff meetings. I'll tell you, it's just it's kind of like a shot in the arm for all of us. So and we don't even live channel in those things. But anyway, it's very exciting. So we wanted to share that with you and let you know there's so many things taking place on planet Earth. And we hope to answer a lot of your questions on December 1st here in YouTube. To be able to do that, open question answers, I'm not going to hold back anything anymore, plain and simple. I hope you enjoy it. If you don't, I certainly understand. I had a lot of resistance to talking about ETs, talking about all this stuff that so many people have been talking about a long time. The group has shown me this ever since we wrote the first book. And now I'm going to start bringing a lot more of it out in the future. So welcome home, everybody. Thank you. And thanks, Cindy, for allowing me to make all these announcements today. Espavo, everybody. I'm going to bring you Meg, and then we'll be right back with the channel from the group. This is Meg Adamson. She's got some fascinating things for us here today. Espavo.
Hi, everybody. It's so nice to be here with you again this month. Let's jump right in. So the topic that I want to discuss this month is, who is your authentic self? I come across this term a lot in my line of work as a clinical hypnotherapist. Clients will often say to me that I want to become my authentic self. And what I've come to realize is that this means something different to everyone. So in my curiosity, I looked up the Webster's dictionary meaning, and it said, to live in accordance with one's own beliefs and values rather than those of others. Which makes sense, right? In other words, to be uniquely you, living by your own beliefs. But the question that I want to ask you is, are your own beliefs about you authentic? This is where it becomes very nuanced. What if your beliefs from your past state that you weren't loved enough, or cared for enough, or seen, or valued, or safe? What if those beliefs are still being held dominant Right? If you've not dealt with those silent beliefs, and they're silent because they're running unconsciously, this is because your subconscious mind is holding them dominant. If you experienced emotional pain, it registers that, prioritizes that. Why? Because its job is to keep you alive and to keep you safe and to govern your body. So it's now going to prioritize that, hold that dominant, and weigh everything against that. In essence, always being on guard to make sure that you never experience that feeling again. So that turns into sabotage. So being on guard means I don't take those risks, or you don't go for that promotion. You don't believe you're capable. You don't start that business, or ask that person out, or tell that person how you truly feel in a vulnerable way. And are you living authentically? But authentically isn't getting you anywhere near where you want to truly be. Because in essence, you are living authentically, but you're living authentically to those limiting beliefs, to that past pain and the protection of it. And so there's this internal conflict that says, there's a part of me that knows I want more, I'm meant for more, there's a bigger path ahead for me. And yet every time I try to consider it, or step into it, or move towards it, procrastination comes in and I shut the whole thing down. That's a coping mechanism. Or I get scared and I freeze. Or the voice in my head starts to tell me all the reasons why that can't work for me. So you see, your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between past pain and present fear of that same pain. There's no o'clock in the subconscious mind. There's no time. There's only now. And each now moment. So if you're not living your life in a way that you love, chances are that your silent past is running your life right now. And you feel like there's nothing you can do about it because it feels like that's how it is. It feels like that's what's true. But deep down, somewhere inside of you knows this isn't true. There's an innate intelligence, right? The subconscious mind isn't just a function of your brain. There is a field of consciousness, and it's part of that field. And that consciousness is never going to be in agreement with you when you say that you're not capable, or that you're not smart, or that you're not lovable, or that you'll be single forever, or that you'll never be successful, or whatever it is that you tell yourself that you can't have. There's a part of you inside that knows that's not true. And that's actually why it feels so bad. Right? Our subconscious mind is also the seat of our emotion. It's where all of our memories are stored. Every single memory we've ever had. Can you imagine how intricate that filing system is? And the moment we start to feel badly about something we want that we don't believe that we can have, that feeling is telling us that's a subconscious communication. And it's because there's a conflict, because there is an innate part of you that says that is not who you are, and you can have everything that you want. But you've got to believe it. And so we get this sort of jumbled up. We think, I want to live authentically, which means I want all the things that I want, and I want to feel good about myself. That's what I want. I want to love myself. I want to love my life. That's what we all want. But what we truly believe at the subconscious level, if we're not doing that, if we're not experiencing that, then we've got programming to clean up. That part of us, that innate intelligence or your divine intelligence, that part that's bigger than you, right? That's higher self, that conscious part that's connected to that universe and all of its wonder and perfection that keeps planets spinning in orbit and gravity. And that part is never going to look upon you, flow energy to you, and say, you're right, you're not smart enough, you're not worthy enough, you're not capable enough, right? So we have to really investigate and contemplate the things that we tell ourselves. Because truly, this is the real reason behind the desire to live authentically in the first place. The world isn't the reason for you not being able to have or be or do any of the things that you want. That's just your brain's way of making you right. It will always spin a story to make you right. That's why in every argument, have you noticed? Your version is skewed or angled just a bit more towards you than the other person, and their version is skewed just a bit more towards them. That's our incredible brains. Your brain will always show you the evidence of what you believe to be true about yourself and about the world. So instead, if we looked at this reflection of our life, and instead of making it a self-judgment about us and our capability and our worth, what if we were able to become so emotionally mature and resilient and intelligent, we could look at it basically just showing us how we're doing and where we need to tweak things? Because we are story-making machines. And we are meaning-making machines to those stories. So not only do we tell ourselves a story of why we can't have it, there is a meaning behind that about us that's personal. And it's those two things that conflict with our idealism of living an authentic life. So we tell a story in a way that's a bit curated towards us being right and justified for why we can't have what we want, while we also feel terrible deep down inside because part of us knows what we're telling ourselves is not true. Not to the universe, not true to our divine innate intelligence within us. And this very conflict has us say, I want to live my authentic life as my authentic self. So really, when we say this, what we're actually saying is, I know there's more for me, but I am scared. I am terrified. I can't find it. I feel it, but I tell myself all the reasons why things don't work for me. And I'm terrified that if I try and fail, this story in my head will be true. That past pain will have been true. That I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I'm not capable, I'm not lovable. And fill in the blank. So what happens is it's more soothing to blame others and the world and play small and stay safe, avoiding that fear of pain, because the subconscious mind doesn't know that that's in the past. Anytime we get anywhere near that same feeling, that same risk factor, it's going to associate it in a millisecond, and it's happening right now in real time. So we're going to do that until it isn't soothing anymore. Those coping mechanisms start to really get in our way and sabotage us. We get older, and hopefully we become much more resilient and much more emotionally intelligent. And the fear of not fulfilling our purpose, having meaning to our life that feels so good to us, that becomes more intense than our fear of emotional pain. And that's when things start to change. That's when people come looking for me. Living authentically actually means that I've got to clean up my past and make my beliefs congruent with what my innate intelligence within me knows to be true about me. That's the work. And as soon as we start to do that, at first all the fears come up. What if? What if I'm really not good enough? What if I fail? What if? And then, as we collapse them, the programming that says, right, be careful. Remember when Dad said, what's wrong with you? We don't want to hear that and feel that again. Remember when Mom said, why can't you just behave? We don't want to feel rejected by her or anyone ever again. Remember in school when you didn't fit in? We don't want to go for that bigger life and risk that criticism again. And when we reorganize the subconscious and teach it what we want, we can also reorganize all of those what ifs. What if you succeed? What if the world needs exactly what you uniquely offer? What if the idea becomes the best thing that you have ever done for yourself? What if that nudge is a guiding light for you? And yeah, we're not perfect. We're going to fall on our bums sometimes. But we don't have to beat ourselves up for that. That's part of learning. That's not part of our worth or value. That does not equate to our value. I recently went to see the movie Saturday Night that's just come out in the theaters. And I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but there's a big television show in the US called Saturday Night Live. And it is almost about to celebrate its 50th anniversary. And this movie was based on the first 90 minutes before that very first show went to live air. And it was so good. And I'm not going to ruin the plot here because it's really worth seeing, but especially if you're a fan of the show. But imagine if someone like Lorne Michaels, the creator of the show, never believed in it. Imagine if he never believed that he could create this live show with a group of completely unknown 20-somethings that he thought had talent on a major television network and bring something so new and fresh and invigorating to the public. Imagine the last 50 years of this iconic show would never have existed. But he followed that inner guiding light, and he had struggles all along the way. But he followed that innate intelligence. And even when everything said, this isn't going to work, even when they told him some information that was astounding to learn in the film. And as I was sitting watching and contemplating it at the same time, and then contemplating it later when I came home, I really had so many of these recollections of these what-if moments in my own life that turned into extraordinary experiences. That they become almost like following a path your innate intelligence lays out for you. You develop this relationship, this really powerful relationship between you and you, right? Bigger you. That part that can see the road ahead and knows where you want to go and orchestrates it perfectly for you to follow. Remember, your brain is your ally. Your subconscious mind is the mechanism that we project from. So we've got to clean up that terrain because the mechanism is extraordinary and it will prove you right and it will move all the pieces around to align what it is that you believe. So what you believe becomes the foundation of the entire process of living that authentic life that you're after, of that love and of that excitement and hope and beauty and unity and all of it. Because at that point, then your beliefs are all on board. And you know what happens? You start to expect it. This is the magic of being human, in my opinion. When you understand how your mind works for you and you take responsibility for it without it being anything to do with self-judgment, then you start to have an extraordinary experience. This, in my opinion, is the actual magic of what we call authenticity. And the most important part is it's already built inside of you, right? It's already working. It's already powerful. It's just working to guide you to more of what you don't want, because those are your stronger beliefs. Your brain doesn't judge you. Your subconscious mind doesn't ever analyze you, recognize reality from imagination, or deem you worthy or unworthy. It simply carries out instructions impressed upon it. We truly are our own reality-making machines. And you're already extraordinary. But you've just got to clean up that terrain in a way that's right for you. This is where the custom work really shines, because we might have similar beliefs, but we had completely different experiences. And so when you deal with them in a way specifically for your past, not a generalized way that everybody can relate to, but yours. This is so key, and it's why the results come over time. And so for the next month, what I'd like you to consider is this question: what would really make you happy? And please try not to make it about others. I would be happy if this person did this or loved me or treated me differently. That's just trying to control others' behavior and control the narrative. We don't do that. That would sound more like, I would be so happy if I woke up every day feeling loved, feeling healthy in my body, knowing my worth and experiencing kindness and love with others. And then start to do one thing, just one small thing every day, one small thing every day where you give that to yourself. Do something kind for yourself. Maybe that one thing is to catch yourself when you're speaking negatively, judging yourself, being mean to yourself, because we are so hard on ourselves. And instead say, I love you. You really are a miracle. You don't realize it, but you are. The fact that you're here, the odds that it's you, made up with your specific genes and DNA, if you really truly understood how extraordinary it was that that made you, specifically you, and there's no other you in that blueprint on this planet. And if you're not confident in how to do that, you can access a free audio download on my website at any time. That's at megadamsonhypnotherapy.com. You just put your name and email in at the bottom and it'll automatically send it to you. This is all about how to relieve stress in your life specifically. It's about 25 minutes long. And there's another resource that I've just made available, and it's under the menu, under shop, and then master courses, and it's called How to Achieve Any Goal, and it's completely free of charge. These can really get you started reprogramming your subconscious mind, because that is where all the magic lies. And then you can start taking inspired action steps because you start to feel better. And when you're doing that, you're rebuilding that relationship between you and you. I'm launching a new event coming in January. That's also on the website that you can read about. But I want to thank you for this beautiful time with you. Thank you for investing in yourself by spending time watching the program, watching the videos, contemplating your own life, wanting more, being willing to do the work. You are more rare than you realize. You are more rare than a lot of the general population, and I want you to really own that. Thank you for being who you are, for being here. Thank you for listening to this segment and for inviting me into your home and being so welcoming and so warm. I'm honored. Be well. Live fully. And I'll see you next month.
Thank you, Meg. That awesome work. And she does some incredible private sessions. You can find her at Meg Adamson. Go by the link that's there rather than me give you the wrong address. Okay, I'm going to go into channel here. The group has a lot to say today. I'm a little nervous. I've been doing this a long time, and yet I'm a little nervous. So anyway, welcome home, everybody. Aspavo. Greetings from home, dear ones. I am Observer. I join you this day as part of what the Keeper calls the Group of Nine. I observe everything. The interesting aspect about what I get to do is that I get to observe without judgment. Now, I observe much more than planet Earth, for there are many games going on throughout the universe, in more ways than you could possibly know. This day, I'll start telling some of the stories about what that is. Now, we have been told that we might be helpful if we put this into a somewhat of a series. So this is the What Is series. Today, we're going to tell you a little bit about what is happening. What is happening on planet Earth right at this moment, and why. Much of this we have stated in some ways before, but we also wish to bring that to you today so that you can understand a little bit of who you truly are. You are magicians on the game board. And although the planet can take different turns in different ways, once you become aware of many of these aspects that are taking place sort of behind the scenes, you can do more about it. You can position yourself in the right position. And most importantly, you can come together as light workers in a community that can change your world. Now also, some of this that we're going to speak of today might be considered to be bad news. The reality is that only exists in the third dimension, where you have the duality of up, down, right, wrong, good, bad, love, fear, all of it. There is no black and white, dear ones. It's all shades of gray, and it's a beautiful experience. We hope to help you find your space in the world that is unfolding right now. So what is happening? Well, there's many things that are happening, and much of this we've already spoken of, but let us kind of put it together for you in a new way. We've told you that you have a massive technology explosion on your planet. And in reality, there's going to be a time very soon where you simply will have no more secrets. We've spoken of this for years now, that there will come a time when there are no more secrets. At first glance, that sounds absolutely wonderful, because if you don't have secrets from each other, you can see each other's heart. Going back to the days of Lemuria, when you had open heart chakras, and you could easily tap into everyone else around you. That was very beautiful. But that is not the way that humans have evolved. You have evolved with secrecy, with privacy, you call it. It's not wrong, dear ones. It's simply how you have been playing the game. But as we tell you, with this massive technology explosion, there will be no more secrets. Oh, just for instance, take your passwords right now. You all have these intricate passwords that you must come up with so many numbers, so many numerals, so many characters that your websites demand you do. When you get to quantum computing, and by the way, quantum computing is still a little ways off, but you have an interim level of quantum computing that is now going to start coming out, problematic computing. And that is going to be hundreds and thousands and even millions of times faster than your computers now. That's hard to imagine what that is, but with your passwords, they can be figured out by simply numerical sequencing with your computers. But it takes forever, which is why your passwords work. When you introduce this new technology, it'll do it in a heartbeat. Again, no more secrets. So with that, you start to become aware because you have conveniences everywhere. The internet is everywhere. It's not only in your computers and your tablets, it's in your cell phones, it's in your refrigerators, it's in your dryers. It is everywhere, and especially your televisions. It's everywhere. And it is extremely convenient. And yet, it is easily tapped into. And with the new technologies that are coming up, there will be no more secrets. So we wish to bring that to your attention. Again, we have spoken of it a long time. We will give you ideas of things that you can do to still be on your own. But we tell you it's evolved much faster than your awareness of it has. Right now, you are under massive surveillance. A gentleman by the name of Edward Snowden many, many years ago brought this to your attention. We tell you, even though it was revealed at that time, it has grown so much. Now, your cell phone technology is being hacked all the time. They know where you are because you use GPS. They know where you are, they know what you buy, they know what you're looking at, they know what makes you tick, and things that can help you make decisions. Now, some of this is simply about influencing you to buy something, influencing you in a certain way. But it's also been used tremendously lately to influence politics. And that is where you are right now. Fascinating things are taking place. But please understand, dear ones, you are being watched. And you're being watched from the other side of the veil. Of course, I am an observer. That's what I do. But you're also being watched by your own beings in many countries, not just one. It is everywhere. And we tell you this technology is everywhere. There'll be many documentaries about this coming forward. There'll be other aspects that reveal these same things. But pay attention. That extreme convenience in your pocket that you call a cell phone is also telling everybody about who you are, what makes you tick, and where you are at that moment. By tracking that, they can sell that information to the merchants in that area, to the merchants that sell these things that you're interested in. And we tell you it's not even wrong. It's certainly not illegal. But your technology has evolved much, much faster than the safeguards that your laws often provide. So much of this is taking place very quickly. So your internet in general is being watched everywhere. Your computers, your cell phones, all the rest of it. So the question becomes, why? Why this massive explosion of technology? Is it just that everything came together at this junction and exploded, that humans evolved that fast? You had help. You've had help for ages. We've mentioned it a long time ago, and we've talked about it for many times. And yet the keepers had a great resistance for talking about it. He never wanted to get into the area that you call conspiracy theories. So he has avoided these things tremendously. Now it is time for him to step aside and let us speak about what is taking place and what that huge resistance is all about. If we go back in time for what we have already said many times, you had 6 parental races that basically have started planet Earth and humanity. You started even before that on a different planet. As we told you before, on Mars. You will find the evidence of life. It was you. Real simple. And we are telling that story in the Lightmaster group currently. We're going to try and lay it out as best as possible to have a base for people to understand so that they can know what's taking place going forward. And please understand, dear ones, what we say. We offer for your own discernment. Some of you will agree with things we say. Some of you will discount it. Please take what resonates with you, call it your own, and leave the rest without judgment. For the moment you call something bad, you attach a string to it and you drag it through life with you. So we ask you to use your discernment, take what works for you. But the 2500 series, as the Keeper calls it, of Lightmaster, will start with all of these explanations of how the Earth evolved and also how humanity evolved and what was taking place. Now, things we've said before, again, we'll bring up right now. The beings, the intergalactic beings, some of these 6 parental races, and by the way, only 4 of those parental races are still around. Some of them have come to conclusion. For on your side of the veil, you are finite. You all have a beginning and an end, including planets and including races of beings. But you're spirits. That's the most important part. You have no memory of being on Mars. You have no memory of your past lives. And yet you were there over and over again. So we work with the spirit part of you to awaken that part of your being, to allow you to start remembering and taking your position perfectly in all these areas around you right now, so that you can see where you can best be of service on this planet as it changes very quickly right beneath you. Welcome home, dear ones. Welcome home. So with that, let us take you a little further into this. We've told you before about some deals that were made by some very powerful people. Now, what if you were an advanced race of beings? For 4 of your parental races are around you. What if they wanted to control you in some way? Well, they certainly have the technology to simply walk in, take you over. But then you would not be cooperating, would you? You would be constantly fighting against them, the same way that you fought against them in the Garden of Eden. That is exactly what happened. And when the feminine energy rose, Eve bit the apple and broke the bonds of that captivity that took place. So what if you are very powerful beings and you wanted to take over a planet, or at least control a planet, how would you do it? Well, the easiest way would be to find the most influential people that can influence others. And that's what's happened. It began quite a long time ago in different countries throughout the world, but The largest one was the United States. It began with Mr. Truman, President Truman. He made deals with the aliens. These are part of the reasons that everything is kept quiet, according to your government, and sidetracked and hidden in different ways. But after Mr. Truman came Mr. Eisenhower. President Eisenhower made deals with one of your parental races, the ones you call the Greys. And he basically, in exchange for technology, he would allow you to be abducted. A certain amount of beings could be abducted, watched, and as they grew, they could be abducted again and kind of checked to where they were. Of course, you found implants, you found other things of that nature that have taken place. They were one of your parental races. Now, does that make President Eisenhower the bad guy? Well, that's up to you. It's what you call good and bad. But he was also faced with a very difficult decision because they have technology far beyond your understanding. And that also made the United States a leader in many ways. If you look at some of the major inventions throughout history, many of them came from the United States, even though the United States does not have a large aspect of the population. Some of the deals were made. They continue to be made this day. And that's kind of where you are in this point. Deals were constantly made in exchange for technology, which is why you have this technological explosion taking place on your planet right now. Again, it's not wrong, dear ones. It's simply what is. It's the aspect of who you are. Now, one of the aspects that have been greatly influenced are your elections. Real simple. We've mentioned to you a while back, many years ago, that your democracy in the United States had basically outlived and was kind of going away. Well, that is right in front of you now. The Constitution in the days ahead will be weakened greatly and eventually dropped in different ways. This has been one of the moves that have been going on. Now, we also tell you that a long time ago, when humans were really becoming evolved for the first time, not the first time, because you were on Mars, you were advanced beings. And we tell you even during the Ice Age, you had hugely advanced human evolution and human places where you evolved. You have stories of Atlantis, but you have no idea how evolved that incredibly was. You're at that stage now. But we also tell you there's a move right now taking place on planet Earth that also happened in the days of the Romans. In the Romans, they were trying to control a very large population of beings, but they had a lot of arguments because they had different belief systems. They had these new Christians which were here. You had all these Jewish people that were here. You had all these different aspects. You had the Druids, you had the pagans. And their intent was to combine them all to make one religion that could easily be honored and controlled in some ways. That is happening today. It's called basically the Heritage Foundation is one of the major players in this aspect. It has just taken over the United States. And you're going to see some interesting things take place. We tell you these are the same people that changed your laws a while back and brought you a new law called Citizens United, which allowed people to put money in quietly. And that has allowed the money to influence the planet. So your democracy has taken a back seat. Now, they're going to do everything they can to make everybody one religion, Christian. It's actually called white Christian nationalists because most of it is that way. And although there will certainly be some black people, some Asian people, some Latino people that are brought into this aspect, the most part is that there is a superior race of beings that they believe, white Christian nationalists. But it's not just the United States. The Heritage Foundation is global. These are also the people that brought you the Congressional Prayer Breakfast, which is a global event which happens in different countries throughout the world, where they bring people together to pray, but they pray in a Christian way. They're trying to isolate, trying to integrate into it. And even though your Constitution in the United States has very clear boundaries about the separation of church and state, that is going away. In the very near future, you will be teaching young children about Christianity as part of the public school systems, not as an alternative, but as a required course, as part of their education. That can take you back quite a ways. And yet, you're spirits. You can be controlled in the short term, but not the long term. So we'll tell you more about this. But this is underway as we speak. Now, I've also brought you some incredible aspects to be able to do this. The other things that's going to take place in the United States very quickly, besides the Constitution itself being weakened and finally rewritten, is that freedom of speech will be greatly limited. You're going to find your news controlled, similarly the way it was in Russia at this point. The state will basically be in harmony with different aspects, and people can see this coming. They are in business. Please understand that. Although they have a great desire to bring you the truth in the news stations, they're also in business, and they can see what's coming. You have one of 3 major news places in the United States that has just made some interesting moves. NBC itself has now separated itself from CNBC and MSNBC, split it off and sent it off on its own because they didn't want to be associated with it. They can see what is coming. This is happening in many places throughout the world. Watch for it. Be aware of it. Stand up for your freedom of speech. It is absolutely critical to your advancements in so many ways. Take a breath, everyone. Excellent. Good. Now, with that, we have much going on with this aspect as well. So we'll tell you a little bit more about the aspects of what is taking place. Now, because of the fact that they want everyone to be of the same religion, it eventually means that down the road, all other religions will be under attack. Right now, it's pretty clear to see that there are some that are clearly under attack. The actual largest religion in the world is actually Islam, and it's absolutely under attack, is it not? In many different places throughout the world. So you're starting to see many things that are taking place in different aspects of things. What's your position in this? Well, first of all, understand all of these things are masculine energy. They're actually a reaction, in many ways, to the rise of feminine energy that we spoke about many times. The feminine energy comes in and starts to influence everything, and in that time frame, the masculine energy reacts and starts grabbing and changing things very quickly. Please be patient. You will have your opportunities to have your voice be heard, if that is what you desire. Completely up to you. Because you see, all of these things are happening in the lower vibrations of the 3rd dimension. In the 5th dimension, things are different. A lot of this doesn't exist. A lot of things can be worked even, and the challenge about it many times is that you have built your 3rd dimensional reality inside the 5th dimension, trying to use 3rd dimensional rules even though you've already moved into the 5th dimension. This can be changed. So breathe easy. Know that you have massive changes ahead. Things are going to take place that you may not agree with, or maybe you do. Doesn't make a lot of difference. It's 3rd dimension you're speaking of here. As you step into your spirit exists even further in the 5th dimension. As we've mentioned to you many times, we use the 80-20 rule. Currently in the 3rd dimension, you're roughly 80% human, which means that you need to spend 80% of your time even dealing with the physical body, different aspects that you need to do. You must feed it, you must move it around the planet, you must take care of it, you must prepare it, you must do all the things that you do with your physical body. And of course, stay healthy with it. And yet, in the fifth dimension, we hope to completely reverse those numbers and have you be 20% human and 80% of your spirit, which means that your eyes get bright, your heart chakra opens, you become more aware. Because of the rapid advancements of technology, humans in general have become less empathetic. Have you noticed that because of the anonymity that is often offered on social media, you have what you call trolls, people that come out. Are they bad people? No. They're just expressing their dark side. And they're doing it publicly, which causes great harm. It also comes out with a lot of bullies, and many times because their dark side has no place in their life, which is why we talk about embracing your shadow self, why we try to give you some tools to work with that in some ways. So these are all aspects that we have spoken of that are starting to come true on your planet in a very big way, very, very quickly. Do not panic. You're here for a reason. You understand that many of you actually hold the key for stepping into this next fifth dimensional reality. Most of you to which we speak are healers and teachers in your own right. And you will find ways of bringing this through and speaking of this in different ways. There are opportunities directly ahead to let your voice be heard and to hold love in your heart in place of fear. So please do not consider this good or bad news. It's simply where you are at this moment. But you are moving. And the more that you can anchor fifth dimensional reality right here where you are now, the easier and more fun life's going to be. There's many aspects of this that we tell you about. Find that passion that we've spoken about. Whatever it is you love to do, step into it, because it's when you become the highest use to the universe that you can be. These are some of the greatest aspects that you can use coming forward. Dear ones, you're at a grand time on planet Earth. Many of you have traveled backwards in time some 300 years to be here at this exact moment. Why? No, you may not be aware of it, but you carry these energies. You carry this wisdom. You carry some of the seeds of the new earth with you right now. Welcome home, everyone. Carry that smile on your face and hope in your heart, and know that you are right on track to step into and anchor a fifth dimensional reality. Step out of the third dimension. Do not let it attach you. Do not let it worry you. You are creator beings. What happens when you carry fear in your mind and your heart? You manifest it. And many times, others are in control of what you hold in your head and your heart. Not in the fifth dimension. That is not possible. It doesn't happen, no matter how much technology is there. In reality, you're going to find many ways of anchoring these and settling this energy in new ways. Watch for these openings. Watch for opportunities to have your voice heard, no matter what side you think you're on. The reality is, if you're on a side period, you're anchored in the third dimension. Let go of all of it. Watch it with love. Try to understand what's taking place. That gives you the opportunities to move into a higher vibration right where you stand now. Dear ones, I am observer. I am watching massive changes on your planet. And I will also say that there is another aspect of what you call the group that will be coming in very soon. It's another aspect of the feminine energy. When the time is right, he, she will be coming in and bringing these messages through the keeper. Part of the same group, part of the group of 9. Filled with love, because the feminine energy is rising no matter what. No matter what resistance and no matter what technology is used. You'll find ways of bringing that up. The feminine energy is all about harmony versus force. Find ways of doing that and fall in love with everything around you. It holds the key to the fifth dimension. It is with the greatest of honor that we now ask you to treat each other with respect, no matter who you are, no matter what side you think they're on. Nurture one another every opportunity and play well together as you create a new game on planet Earth. We love you dearly. I am observer, and I do like to watch. Spavo. Okay.